Welcome back, everyone, to 1 Minute Recess, where we break down WTF is going on here in Nevada and all around the world. And there's been a lot of WTF this week. So, Maria, let's get into it. My name is Annette Magnus.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maria Teresa, Maria, or Maite for short. And yeah, that's been that kind of Monday, been that kind of weekend, been that kind of life. So let's dive right in with some important local news, probably the most important. We had an incredible human being. We'll put the news in the notes. But for those that don't know, Ruby Duncan, who is an incredible Nevadan and activist for families in Nevada, especially in Las Vegas, died over the weekend at 93. And we wanted to start with that because aside from all the other nonsense that's going on in the world, we really lost a great one with her passing. So yeah, I don't know what to say to that. It's so sad. She was an incredible person that kept going till her last day.
Yeah, I mean, for all of us who grew up in the movement here in Nevada, you always grew up listening and hearing stories and seeing Miss Ruby in the community and seeing the good work that she had done in the community. And so it's a huge loss for all of us. It's a huge loss for Nevada. If you've never read the book Storming Caesar's Palace, you absolutely should. It's all about her advocacy and the activists that she worked alongside to help working families get access to all kinds of things in the state that working families needed. And so, yeah, she's just an incredible human being and she's going to be greatly missed. And her legacy will continue to live on for hopefully generations to come. And hopefully, she has a school named after her, but hopefully all of our young people here in Nevada continue to learn about her for generations to come. Thank you, Miss Ruby Duncan. We love you and we're going to miss you greatly.
Yep. You were a great one, Ruby.
Yeah,
it's always the good ones, man.
One of the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sad.
Shut down the strip in 71. For those that don't know, if you want to find out one thing that she did, she shut down the strip in 71 so that hardworking Nevada women and families like her, especially moms on, I think it was federal assistance, get the cut because they had cut it 75%. And they fought for that 75% for that money to come back. And yeah. Speaking of struggling families, Annette, Nevadans are close to the breaking point with gas prices.
Yeah. Well, and everything else too. So a lot of these types of issues are the things that Miss Ruby Duncan fought for. So yeah, gas prices are through the roof here in Nevada. I filled up my tank this morning. It was like $5 a gallon. It cost me $75 to fill up my gas tank. I have a 15-gallon gas tank, 1.5. So yeah, insane. I got it at Albertsons. I didn't get it anywhere fancy. And I had my little Albertsons discount, right? And it still was incredibly expensive. And it sounds like, most Nevada drivers are experiencing that at this point. So this article from the Las Vegas Review-Journal states that Nevada drivers are, quote, 93 cents away from their breaking point when it comes to gas prices. I mean, that's expensive. The gas is already hovering around $5 depending on where you go. Another 93 cents, $6 a gallon is what we're talking about approximately. That's crazy. That's crazy for people who have to go to and from work every day. I mean, I'm lucky. I work from home, right? Nick works from home. But for people who have to go out, pick up their kids from school, go get groceries, people who are Uber and Lyft drivers, people who work, in their cars, like my neighbor who does, she does advertising. So she has to drive everywhere she goes. That's incredibly expensive for normal people to be able to get around this city, especially as a commuter city, because we don't have reliable transportation in this city or really anywhere in the state.
Exactly. Yeah. And 93 cents to the breaking point. 93 cents. Like, how specific and scary is that less than $1 is the breaking point for so many people in Nevada? But everything's fine. It's really the state tax that's the problem. It's the governors. It's not what's going on in the economy.
In the Middle East.
Yeah.
It's not the war that Donald Trump started. No, And they're saying it could go up more over the summer because of the war,
Yeah.
because of summer driving, because of summer trips. And what people always forget is when your gas prices go up, the gas prices for drivers goes up. The gas prices to get your food to and from goes up. The gas prices to get your food to the grocery store goes up. The gas prices go up to pick your food, right? All of these things impact one another in our economy. And so just because your gas prices are up doesn't mean that's a siloed issue. It starts to hit you in every piece of the economy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
those eggs and bacon are gonna keep going up. They're not going any lower anytime soon.
All of those goods have to be transported into Nevada.
So I wonder what the bots are gonna have to say about that, about in all the
Oh,
galaxy brains about how
it's Donald
it's not
Trump.
that
Just
bad.
pay it. It's not that bad.
Just pay it. Yeah. I'm an
Trump didn't
investor, so
start a
this is great for
war with
me.
Iran. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's
Everything's
fine.
fine.
It's all good. Shut the fuck up. Just pay it.
Just pay it. That's what they told us last time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Tell that to the Nevadans who are 93 cents away from a breaking point. That just pay it.
They probably would. They're that horrible.
Ugh.
People who say that. Like, mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. So let's see what it is on the West Coast. Just out of where are gas prices the highest? Just out of curiosity. Let's see. State averages. This is from gas prices. So West Coast, of course. So Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, California, Arizona, Hawaii, and Alaska. Oh, in Illinois, strangely enough, those are the highest on AAA fuel price maps right now. Nevada's at approximately $5.30. California's at almost $6 a gallon already. Oregon's at $5.71. Washington's at $5.47. So Arizona's at $4.63. Alaska's at $4.80. Hawaii's at $5.65. So mostly West Coast states are the highest. Well, not mostly. West Coast states are the highest, with Nevada being one of the highest. And again, this is based on national retail prices, and it is a tracker of state gas price averages. And from the looks of it, just on regular schmegular gasoline, nothing fancy, right? No diesel, none of that. Nevada is one of the highest.
Well, we know what the problem is. It's all those Democratic governors.
Yeah, since ours is a big Dem. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through just to see. Yeah, we're in like the top 5. It's crazy.
Woo! Top of bad list.
Once again.
Last week we
And
were at the
that's-
top of a good list. Now bad list.
And
again.
that's pretty much across the board. Let's look at diesel just out of curiosity. Diesel, if you want to put diesel in your car right now, the average in Nevada is $6.12.
Yeah, all our food is definitely not gonna go down anytime soon.
Right.
Because for those people who don't get it, diesel is what trucks use.
Big trucks, unless you're using those Amazon trucks. And we'll
Mhm.
put this in the chat so you can track prices on AAA because it's a good resource for gas prices. So we'll put that in the chat.
Yeah. Oof.
All right, let's talk about Nevada elections. There's a lot going on this week, Maria.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the state Senate primary between Isaac Barone, city council member, school board trustee, Isaac Barone, and current state senator Edgar Flores. So you've known both of these Latino men for a very long time. We both have worked with them. We both know them from our work at the state legislature and other places. There's a lot to this race. So curious, what do you know? What are you hearing out in the streets? Because I'm pretty sure you live in this district.
Probably. Let me check.
I think you do.
Let me see.
Because this
Hang
is,
on.
unless you live in Spearman's district, Spearman's old district.
I live to the left of it. I was Dean and Neal.
Yeah, it's all kind of shifted though with redistricting, so I'm not really sure where you're at.
Thanks, Democrats.
And if you're curious where Maria's looking up who her legislator is, you can go on the Nevada legislative website and go to Who's My Legislator, What's My District, and you can figure out who your legislator is and what your district is. That's exactly what Maria's doing right now to see if she lives in this legislative district, because it's all very close to each other. This is only really in the Senate primary, I should say, that the anti-film tax stuff has really come up. There are several primaries, though, we should talk about in the Nevada legislature. So there's just one in Senate District 2, because it's a heavily Democratic district. So no Republican would ever win there. This is going to be always a D seat because of the demographics of that seat. But there are several legislative races that do have primaries for incumbents. Most of those primaries are with people who are with the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. So a lot of those DSA folks are running against incumbents currently in the Nevada Assembly. What does incumbent mean? That means a legislator who's already an elected officer to that seat, so already a senator, already an assembly person, and they're running again for re-election. These DSA folks are challenging those incumbents, the people who already hold office. In this case, this was spurred on by the anti-film tax credit vote, and there's 2 Latinos running in this district. So Edgar Flores, who's the current state senator who sits in that seat, and then Isaac Barone, who is a member of CCEA, the Clark County Education Association. I smile because I know Maria has strong feelings. And Isaac Barone has been a long-time North Las Vegas city councilman. He's a Dem. And like I said, he served on the Clark County School District School Board. He's also a teacher at Rancho High School. He's been a teacher there for nearly 30 years. And yeah, he's very well known in the community, and so is Edgar Flores. I will say, Edgar Flores has done a lot of good during his time. He's always been a good, progressive vote in the Nevada legislature, good Dem. He did run into some trouble, though, last year where there was alleged drunk driving that happened. Allegedly, the police pulled him over and he was intoxicated based on, their testing that they did, and they found him in the car asleep at a red light. So, Edgar Flores, who has been fantastic for his community in the state legislature, he does have some baggage. He also voted against the film tax bill. There was quite a bit of drama around that. Think hallway fistfights, potentially. And so there's been a lot of drama around this. A lot of the unions are pissed off at him because they had him and then they didn't have him and then they had him and then they didn't have him. There was a lot of backing and forthing going on the film tax credit vote during the special session, along with other legislators. But I think CCEA and some of the other unions see Edgar Flores as an easy target. There's also a bigger thing going on here, and this is the context nobody wants to talk about. And so I wanted to kind of fill in the gossip, if you will, because this is what is even more important that's going on here. So Nicole Cannizzaro, who's the current state Senate Majority Leader, she is running for Attorney General against Zach Conine. Zach Conine is the current treasurer of Nevada. Nicole Cannizzaro is the current state Senate Majority Leader, meaning she is the leader of the Senate Majority, so the Senate Dems. If Nicole wins that seat for she wins the primary for Attorney General, which is she's running against Zach, she will then go on to the general. If the general election happens and Nicole Cannizzaro wins the general election, she will vacate her state Senate seat, which it's a 4-year term. She's in the middle of that term. So she will vacate her Senate seat and move on to the Nevada AG office because Aaron Ford, who's our current AG, is running for governor, but he's also term limited out. If she doesn't win that office, if she doesn't win for Attorney General, she goes back to the state Senate, where she will remain the majority leader. But if she wins that seat for Attorney General, she will then move out of the Senate, which leaves the majority leader office open grabs. You have multiple people in that Democratic caucus who want to be the state Senate majority leader. And Edgar Flores is a key vote in that race for majority leader. Because the caucus, whether they're saying it or not, we're all hearing whispers, we're all hearing rumors, we're all hearing chatter about 2 people in particular who may want to have that seat. One is State Senator Rochelle Wynn. The other is State Senator Melanie Scheibel, who has to win her re-election campaign. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to this. And it is important because This seat is hotly contested. The unions are coming for Edgar Flores. Specifically, CCEA is coming for Edgar Flores. They have a ton of influence in the Nevada legislature as is. Having somebody like Isaac Barone in the state Senate could be huge, huge influence for a group like CCEA. But on top of that, you have the context of what is happening with the majority leader race in the state Senate. And I've heard others might want to throw their hat in too, into that majority leader spot if Nicole leaves. So there's more to this. It's important for the seat to see what happens here. It's going to be a really important, hotly contested primary, but this could have implications further down the road for the majority leader seat. So anyways, that's the hot gossip. We'll put the article in the chat. I don't think the article really touches on that, but you know.
But and now you know, 1 minute recess, listeners or viewers. Wow, so it got from complicated to more complicated.
Yeah. And it's funny because in here it said, when asked if the primary was tied to his film tax credit vote, Flores responded, quote, absolutely. He suggested that some people were trying to, quote, capitalize on the death of the film tax credit bill. This is in the Nevada Independent. This is the article that highlights the race. Barone said he was hopeful that the proposal would bring new jobs, stated that the demise of the film tax credit bill was the final straw in his decision to run. Not CCEA pushing him into the race, but the film tax credit. And that Barone, who grew up in the district, said that the community is drastically underserved, lacking robust healthcare facilities. I mean, literally every place in the state is. And that the bill could have boosted economic opportunities in the district. I mean, maybe. Maybe. He knew darn well just how important that this bill was to the people on our side of town. Now, I will say, Erica Mosca, state assembly person, she had bargained as part of one of the bills, it's hard to keep track, that they would build like a training facility on that side of town. So it is possible that there would have been some training components, some education components specifically targeted to that side of town, which would have been great, right? But to peg it on Edgar Flores, it's a bit of a reach. Also, why is CCEA doing the bidding on film tax credits?
Yeah, for it. What do you care?
Get it. I get it for building trades, right? I get it
Yeah.
for building trades. They're actually building the infrastructure. I get it for IATSE, right? Those are our stagehands. Those are the people in the show business industry. That makes sense. But CCEA, fascinating.
Questions on CCA continue as they have for years. Why do you give a shit, John B? Why? Why are you making people run? And what I love is the energy on how darn tootin' this really would have saved the district. This bill, this right here. Because of this bill, we don't have health care. Like, that's what I heard. That because of that vote that Edgar took on that bill, healthcare sucks still. Like, that's basically the dots that were connected, which is not how any of this works.
You know me. There are many of these individuals who are in the Nevada state legislature I am not a fan of. I will call them out. Left, right, middle, it doesn't matter to me. I actually think Edgar Flores is one of the good ones, right? He's always there.
Yeah.
He always listens. If I need something from him, he's responsive. He does the things that I need, right? I always see him out in the community. Did he make a mistake with the DUI thing? Sure.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes, right? Like
mistakes.
I've seen other people, we talked about this on one of our previous episodes recently. I've seen other people do
Worse.
far more heinous things and be forgiven for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the hill we're going to die on. We're going to die on the no film tax credits that our state couldn't afford anyways, that was going to bankrupt our state.
Yeah. Which, by the way, can you imagine with these gas prices, state getting bankrupt? Like, boy. Also,
could you imagine trying to fund social services when Donald Trump is cutting social services left and right?
Like,
our state doesn't have money.
Yeah, and by the way, everyone, I hate to say it, but it's true. Look at what's happening in Georgia, where their studios just are leaving Georgia because Georgia's sick of their shit and wanting to focus on real issues. And they got the shit end of the deal. And the studios are like, bye, Georgia, and going to other countries, literally. And also, Hollywood studios are failing. So it looks like they were looking for a cheap date, everyone.
Yeah, no. They were. Now I hear the word on the street is they've moved on to Arizona. They can't get a cheap date in Arizona. They're going to try again next session. They've already failed 3 times in Nevada. We already told him we couldn't foot the bill 3 times in Nevada.
Yeah.
But again, I go back to, you have arguably one of, if not the, depending on what list you look at, worst school districts in the country. You have statewide one of the worst education systems in the country. But we're going to build a film thing and we're going to subsidize that with public money. Okay, sure.
And it's the perfect time to do that, right now. Where
Uh,
people where let's take us back, especially if there's legislators watching or listening. Let's take us back to the headline, 93 cents away from the breaking point. Now is the time to just do this. Money, money, money for you, money for you. No.
Yeah, it's a real problem. So anyways, I look forward to seeing what happens in this primary. Obviously, for me, the obvious choice. Listen, I like Isaac Barone. I've always liked Isaac Barone. I think he's a nice guy. I don't want another CCEA bot, though, in our Nevada legislature, like, who is beholden to what CCEA does and does not want them to do. Because again, this is also CCEA who behind the scenes also fights for like vouchers and privatization and all the shit that a teachers union should be against. So, while CCEA is up there promoting right-wing policies, because we've both seen that happen, I just don't know that that's who I want there legislating. I think Edgar Flores has done a good job, and I think he'll continue to do a good job for his district. It's my 2
Yeah,
cents.
yeah, and this is when it sucks when the whole story isn't being told, and unfortunately it's like you said, two people that are in the story and the Independent says it, like two, for lack of a better term, icons or like figures in a community that are going at it, and for what you have to question for one of them, why is that the breaking point? Why is the studio the breaking point? Why not just you want to run because you want to, because you want to fight for X, Y, and Z? Like, why are we inserting the studio? It just smells to high heaven of a bigger interest here and a bigger narrative.
Don't forget that Isaac Barone and some of his friends that he keeps were also the ones last cycle who went after your Senator Dina Neal, with some kind of like wild racist accusations.
Yeah.
And I frankly have a problem with that. Like, Latinos going after our black community it doesn't matter, right? Like, communities, especially communities of color, should not be going after each other. When
Should
we need
stick
more
together.
communities of colors. Yeah. We need more
Yeah.
people of color in office. We need more people representing us. They shouldn't be attacking one another. Progressives shouldn't be attacking one another. And that's why I question this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it sounds wrong. And if Mr. Barone is watching this, what the WTF, man? No, this ain't it.
Not good. It's not good. It's not good for the community, honestly.
No, it's not. And it divides them on such an issue that's like, really? Like, studios is what did it? We have people literally getting deported.
Yeah.
We have actual healthcare issues. We have actual educational issues. But that's the one that really was going to be the one make or break? No.
And you can see the pack in the article I didn't even see this when I was looking up. I was just talking about what happened last cycle. But in the Nevada Independent article that we're talking about, one of the last lines that's talked about is about Isaac Barone putting up alongside North Las Vegas Mayor Pamela Goins Brown and North Las Vegas City Councilman Scott Black. The three of them launched a pact together against Senator Dina Neal that said she was soft on crime for decades and she tried to, quote, destroy our police department and our community. So you're already going after a sitting legislator last cycle. Now Isaac Barone wants to be a legislator. It's just all very interesting to me.
Fascinating. It's fascinating.
And he has a giant pool of money in CCEA behind him now.
Lovely. Lovely.
So definitely for all of our viewers, even if you're not in Las Vegas, even if you're not in North Las Vegas, this is one of those races to watch. This is one of those critical races in the Nevada primaries that are coming up on June 9th. this is one of those critical races that everybody needs to watch.
Well, yeah, because even if that senator won't represent you, in this case, that senator won't represent you, they'll be in the legislature voting on laws that will affect you. So even if you can't vote for them, monitor to see who it is, at least be aware so that when whoever wins goes in, you can be prepared for whatever they
The
want to do.
influence. Yeah, the
Exactly.
influence that will be influencing them.
Yeah, which is real here in Nevada because we have a legislature basically, and some
That's
people might hate to say this, but it's true, dominated by lobbyists, by who's ever the most powerful, by whoever has the better endorsement, by whoever has the most money. That's how it works. Why? Because we don't pay them, because it's every 2 years, because of the term limits, because they don't, so many reasons. And also because, they got to get reelected and that's how they see things and they need that endorsement, they need that money, etc. So it matters.
sure does. Sure does. And there are other primaries you should watch too. There's one I am personally very invested in, which is Assembly District 9, where my other friend, Maria Teresa Hank, is running against carpetbagger Ryan Hampton. I forget. I confuse them.
Hampton, I think.
Hampton,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, carpetbagger because he ran in 84 last time and suddenly decided to move because he was promised an assembly seat over in 89. And I know that because I actually overheard a conversation in a doctor's office about it. He didn't realize I was sitting there, but he was talking really loud on his phone about Yeager asking him to move into the district. And I've been irritated by it ever since. And so he came over here, decided to run in that district against my friend Maria. So here we are. So everybody should watch that one. And then there's a couple other assembly seats that are going to be important. County Commission District F is going to be super important. There's a hotly contested primary on the Republican side. Then there's Becky Harris running as a nonpartisan. Then there are 3 Democrats running for the county commission in their own primary. So you should keep an eye on County Commission District F. That's going to be an important one. So yeah, there's a lot down ballot this time that people need to pay attention to. And the governor's race.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the governor's race,
Yeah.
the AG race. There's a bunch of primaries, like statewide primaries, treasurer, there's all kinds of shit on the ballot. If you are registered as a Democrat or a Republican, you should go vote in the primary on June 9th.
The other J.
9th.
Yeah.
It's a long day. It's been
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, Nevada.
Never change, Nevada. Never change.
All right, let's move to WTF is happening in this country and the
Do you
entire
want to?
world.
Do you want to?
Happening this. Did anything noteworthy happen over the past few days, Maria, that we should be talking about?
If by that you mean the Scientology speed runs in Los Angeles that the kids are doing, yeah, that's happening.
Hey, there's a lot going on right now. Hey, they found who leaked the Summer House audio. Those are the things that I'm watching right now.
Jeez, those are real news.
All right, let's get into it.
Should be the real news, but the real news.
All right, so the White House Correspondents Dinner happened Saturday evening. I was taking a nap on my fine Saturday afternoon, so evening time, DC time. And I woke up to a barrage of text messages informing me that there was a shooter inside the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which is horrifying, to say the least. There have been many, many takes on this dinner, how it was handled, security. There's lots of different ways that we're going to talk about this evening. But the one I want to start with, I think, is, it is an extraordinary time to live in this country. Every day, every week we do this. There is some new crazy thing that's happened that, you think, oh, that's only going to happen like once in my lifetime. This happens like once a week now. And unfortunately, shootings in this country or threats of shootings in this country are normalcy, normal things that happen on a regular basis. Whether it's in a school or in a classroom or in a movie theater or a grocery store or in this instance at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, gun violence is something that you and I have worked quite a bit on during our career. You mainly, were here when 1 October happened in our own backyard and the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history occurred in our own backyard. So we are no strangers in this country to gun violence. Sadly, it happens all the time. And it's not always mass shootings. Sometimes it's, domestic violence. Sometimes it's people in road rage incidents. You name it. Americans experience gun violence on a regular basis. And this story I thought was an interesting take on the experience that some people had on Saturday night, unfortunately, at the White House Correspondents Dinner. So this was on CNN by Brian Selter, and the headline reads, "An extraordinary moment for America's media elite is all too ordinary in America." And when I saw this article, I sent it to you and I was like, this is what I want to talk about, right? It is an absolute tragedy for gun violence to happen anywhere, whether it's to people in a room with the President of the United States, whether it is a road rage incident on 215. Gun violence is wrong. So let's dive into that a little bit, Maria, because I think this is the takeaway that people seem to be missing here.
Yeah, it's and I think part of that takeaway, right, is that this president and other people within his party as of late and movement have, whenever those occurrences that many in this country are fortunately now accustomed to, sadly, they diminish them. They diminish their importance. They say they give lots of reasons, or they'll excuse mental health, but then they won't do anything around mental health to make sure these things happen anymore. Or, they won't. Lately, a lot of people have noted that there has been in this presidency also a lack of compassion for whenever there have been incidents, for generally, but especially when they've been facing things like this, which when we were working on this issue, like there was a report that says that basically it's almost every day where there's an attempted mass shooting. Technically, mass shootings are at least 4 people, if I'm not mistaken, if that hasn't changed, at least back then. And it was at least one attempted. Like that means that the police were called, they tried to do it, and that there was more than 4 people. And we would also hear a lot of like, when, I don't know if you remember, but we had one intern. I mean, most of the young people that we worked with that were either in college or like high school age would talk about how, oh, this is a real thing that they have kind of embedded in their subconscious now. And that, like, I remember one of them mentioned that she was in high school. She had a habit of not going to the restroom during school because she was afraid she would accidentally be walking down the hallway when that would happen. So that was like one safety measure that she had, is she just wouldn't drink a lot of water, wouldn't eat a lot of food, wouldn't go to the restroom, and would look for the safest seat in the room, right? So like what was the closest to like the door that could lead her to the outside or to a window or something. That was just a few years ago. It hasn't gotten any better since. So yeah, this is exactly how we should be talking about it. And it's fascinating that we don't have a president who was there in the room who not only hasn't had compassion for these incidents, but has had a second time where this has happened, and another one that his movement has been a victim of, and there hasn't been a conversation about what is happening. I mean, the only way that they're saying what is happening is A, we know these things are happening, so I need a ballroom, and B, it's the Democrats' fault.
Yeah.
Really? No, this is something that's going on every single day across the country. And now here you are, but you're not even having this thought of like, wait, it's happening to me now. Like there was a Sandy Hook dad, I believe, that tweeted, "I wish my daughter was worth the ballroom."
Yeah, the fact that he immediately, listen, I can say a lot of things about Erica Kurt, trust me. But watching her leave the room, hysterical, because her husband died of gun violence, right? And she was like, I just want to get home to my kids. She's hysterical. That's how normal people react to a mass shooting, or to a potential mass shooting, attempted mass shooting. Not let's go hold a press conference in the White House press area so we can talk about needing a ballroom. Like that is not the appropriate response to this. Like, I'm sorry. That's not it. There was a room full of human beings that could have been hurt, harmed, killed, including the President of the United States. And let's take it a step further of why I find this whole thing extra wild. You and I and my husband, Nick, went to Harry Reid's funeral at the Smith Center in 2021. You and I went inside the venue to attend the funeral. Nick was outside in the motorcade. Nick went through an extensive background check. to be even in the proximity of Joe Biden. You and I had to also go through a background check to be in the room where Senator Reid's body was. In that room were various dignitaries, including former President Barack Obama. You had, I believe, Hillary Clinton was there. You had current sitting president Joe Biden. And like I said, you had the speaker, you had all kinds of people in that room. But I remember distinctly thinking, and later being informed, that Kamala Harris was not in the room, the vice president at the time. And the reason that the vice president was not in the room at the time was because there were so many people in there in the line of succession that the security, the Secret Service, the people who keep our dignitaries safe, did not feel it was safe to have basically the entire line of succession in one room at once. So Kamala Harris did not come. Now, you have a president who's never spoke at the White House Correspondents Dinner until this year, and you have almost the entire line of succession for the United States government in one room where there is lax security. There was one reporter I saw who said that there was better security at Costco than going into the Hilton. You and I have stayed at that Hilton, right? There are many, many entrances and exits in that Hilton because it's along a very busy area, a very busy street. I am puzzled by the fact that they would put all of these dignitaries in one room, would have lax security in a public space, and then lax Secret Service presence there is what I also read. That there wasn't like the full, they determined that it wasn't needed to have a full force of Secret Service. What the fuck? We were safer at a dead guy's funeral than we were, or we would have been, at the White House Correspondents Dinner with the entire line of succession for the United States government. While we're at war, while we've made enemies all over the world, while you have a controversial president, and this dude magically sneaks in, and then you have a press conference about a ballroom.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of what you're saying, I hate that term, to piggyback, but
It's fine. You can piggyback on me anytime.
like we've had that interaction with Secret Service. I was safer at my debate watch party in Charlotte, North Carolina, that Joe
Right.
Biden stopped by once. And I say that, one, as a joke, and two, to say, when you all, the viewers and the listeners, listen to people that have worked in politics and have had some kind of interaction with Secret Service at some point in their life, like in mine, when I was in campaign world, worked with Secret Service for planning events and then for day of events. And the planning is rigorous, at least then. And that's why people are talking about this and people are questioning, because, well, I don't know, we've had John F. Kennedy. We had attempts on various other presidents. We had one on this one. And
yeah,
so
it's super fucking serious.
Yeah. And
this is not a game.
And it's really important because there are threats that we will never find out about.
Yes.
That the Secret Service knows about. And so the problem is, if we know we're in this heightened state of alert, why was there a lower level of security? Because in that event that I had in Charlotte, North Carolina, at a business park, the whole block was wiped basically like days in advance. Like, we knew exactly, like the Secret Service knew exactly every single person who was in that business park and around that corner. They knew exactly the route to take. They knew everything that was going to happen in the event. They wanted to know what kind of people were that. Like, they really go in. Why didn't that have just as much or more when, like you said, everybody in the line of succession was there? Because it seems like something went wrong. We had our senator, Jackie Rosen, was on MS Now talking about how the way to get in, and the MS Now reporters were talking about this, the way to get in was pretty easy. They were like, you just had to like wave something, like your invite, and you were in. It wasn't like actually checked. And that in the hotel, it was hard to tell who was there for the event, who was just a passerby. Like, people were just being let into the hotel itself. When, if you've been to events where you have the president or dignitaries in, it's usually a pretty tight radius around that venue of like, people can't go in and out. unless you're part of the event. And if you do, you're gonna have to deal with Secret Service. And so it's just shocking. And then of course the Trump administration doesn't help because they make it all worse by, like you said, talking about a ballroom.
The whole thing, I find it disgusting, right? I find it troubling and disgusting that there was even a threat of gun violence to anyone, like, including
Hmm.
Trump. Like, no, I have no patience for that. I find
Hmm.
it disgusting that after a tragic thing occurred, he feels the need to go into a press room and talk about a ballroom. And I find it really kind of almost dismissive of people who've experienced mass shootings and tragedies, even, like I said, even including Erica Kirk, right? Because it's so dismissive of people who've really experienced gun violence in their lives and like the trauma and the hardship that they've gone through.
Hmm.
And that there's no like recognition of that piece of it because like school kids don't have Secret Service agents to save them.
Right. Yep.
School teachers and school administrators and our support staff, they don't have armed guards to support them, right? They're dealing with this shit on their own. Movie theaters, you're a sitting duck in a movie theater. You don't have a Secret Service agent there to pop one off and detain the person with the gun. And so it is dismissive and frankly inappropriate, I think, that there's a potential tragedy that could have happened, that could have been really bad, really serious, probably traumatized a lot of people in that room. I mean, the look on the First Lady's face was sheer horror. And the first thing that Donald Trump thinks of is a ballroom.
Yeah. And I
That's
don't
a
know if
problem.
he even checked on the press pool of reporters because the people in front of you were in the same room with you. They were in their black ties and in their gowns, just as frightened as everyone else. Also, like what would suck is in these places you mentioned like support staff in the schools. Think of like the waiters and the waitresses who like aren't part of the Trump administration, like how they
Right.
must feel that like I was there, but we're not really gonna look into why, or the president doesn't really care why whoever was trying to come in with a gun and weapons, how they were able to get in. It's like, show me you don't care about me.
He doesn't care about that though, right? Those waiters, the staff at the hotel, the housekeepers, the people that we know and love who work in our hotels every single day. We know the trauma that those people went through with 1 October, right? It wasn't just the people down at the festival. It was the festival workers. It was the law enforcement people who had to respond. It was the emergency people who had to respond. It was the hotel workers who had to go in and knock on the fucking door, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones who found the guy. They helped Metro find the guy, right? And so, yeah, like there's no thought about anyone else. I mean, in some of the pictures, it looked like he was like standing off to the side watching,
Yes. Yeah. Where like other people are being
like
evacuated or
hiding
leaving,
under the table. Stephen
doing
Miller's
this.
pregnant wife being used as a human shield.
And there he is, just standing there like a ghost, staring.
And you think about it too, these are the fuckers that say they're pro-life. How many pregnant women were in that room? Caroline Levitt
Yeah.
is what, like 9 months pregnant?
Yeah.
She's in the room up on the stage with Donald Trump. She's a sitting duck. She's literally on the stage with Donald Trump and the First Lady.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's not, you don't have regard for like people's lives. And then they like all go into the press room and they're all like smiling and joking around. Like,
This is why we need the
gun
ballroom.
violence is not a laughing matter. It's not a fucking joke. Like, how many people in our country have experienced these tragedies every single day? It's not a laughing matter. It's not a joke.
No. And so I wonder if there's going to be, especially if people who were there, like the Erica Kirks of the world,
Right.
are you going to question this behavior? Because you should, if you do, especially because you were in the room. So, like, are you going to say, no, like, actually look into why this happened and don't smile at me and tell me nonsense about a ballroom? It
Yeah, it's
just
crazy town.
reeks. Yeah,
The
it
whole
reeks.
thing is crazy town. And like at a certain point, honestly, and I hate saying this because like I know I shouldn't, but I do. I feel like at a certain point I have to turn it off.
Yeah.
I have to turn
Yeah.
it off because it we did so much work in the gun violence prevention space. Again, as gun owners. So fucking calm your tits out there. We've all fucking heard your excuses about how the Second Amendment shouldn't be limited, blah, blah, blah. That's not real. As gun owners, there are better gun laws we could put in place to keep people safer. Period. End of fucking story.
Mhm.
And for me, the fact that there wasn't even like a concern about the safety for people in the room. Hell, at one point he was like, we should just go back to dinner.
Yeah, I wanted to have a moment. I wanted to go back. Yeah.
That is
Okay.
crazy talk. And it's so insensitive and so like you were almost shot, bro. Like what? No, not the reaction. And like also you're putting all those Secret Service members at risk by saying that. Like you want to go back in there? What about the Secret Service agents whose entire job is to put their lives at risk for you?
Look, let me remind you of something that my nail tech learned this weekend via me is this man threw rocks at a baby in a crib. He don't give a shit about you.
Every fucking
No, seriously, like, because,
I mean, it speaks to who he is, his
it
entire
speaks
life.
to who he is. Because,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like, to all the people out there, like regular people that don't give a shit about the news at the nail salon, lots of very strong opinions, and none of them any concern. Why? Because he doesn't have any concern, clearly. Like, doesn't have any concern whatsoever. So, yeah, this speaks to the personality of someone that throws rocks at a baby because he was no longer the center of attention. That's him. That's the whole press conference of the ballroom. Just him throwing rocks at the reporters, at the babies. Just, nope. I want.
Maria, there are not, it is not often that I am at a loss of words. But in this instance, and like that doesn't even go down the rabbit hole of like all the conspiracies and theories and shit, because I'm not going to be out here like repeating mis and disinformation, because like that's not what we're in the business of, right? Not doing that. But like, then we go down but we can talk about this, and this is on CNN right now. And there's a lot of people who've talked about this. You talked about this as we started this conversation about Donald Trump talking about rhetoric from the Dems, violent
Mhm.
rhetoric from the Dems. That is the most hypocritical thing. And I mean, the headline right now on CNN is Trump's hypocritical crusade on violent rhetoric and the country's emerging split on reality.
That's right.
Like, I would like to remind people of the tweet that Donald Trump tweeted on Easter Sunday
Mm-hmm.
about, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's the gist, blowing Iran off the map. And then we come to find out that there are stories that exist out there that Donald Trump was trying to use the nuclear codes to nuke Iran, right?
Mm-hmm.
Want to hear from anybody, especially Donald fucking Trump, about violent rhetoric. He had nothing to say when the elected officials in Minnesota were brutally murdered. He had nothing to say that was worthwhile when Alex Preddy was murdered in the street by his ICE agents and Renee Good was murdered in the street by his ICE agents. In fact, he called for more. He has done nothing but talk about the radical left, the woke left, the blah, 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 and incite violence between the two parties, incite violence between different races of people, talk about countries who are our allies in heinous ways, talk about individuals in this country of different races in heinous ways. I don't want to hear a fucking thing about Donald Trump and rhetoric because Donald Trump is the worst offender of hateful rhetoric. He incites violence. He incites hate. He loves it. He breeds it. His whole true social nonsense feed is nothing but hateful garbage rhetoric. So don't fucking come at me about we need to talk about the violent rhetoric in this country. Yeah, we fucking do. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Let's start with you, Donald Trump. Let's start at patient zero.
And let's
where this shit started. Let's go all the way back to COVID when you blamed a whole fucking race of people for COVID. Let's go all the way back to all the examples of when you made fun of a disabled reporter or when you said hateful things about women. But you want to talk about violent rhetoric because somebody came at you with a gun?
Yeah.
That's precious.
Yeah. No, it's like it's a long one, a long history of And this is an old article from 2024. It's still, words are what you have said lives forever. So these are for those people that are like, whatever the Dems have said is worse or whatever, or he's not as bad. These are some of the things he has said that the Atlantic has compiled. Starting in like 2015, they have a 9-year history of what he has said. Maybe he should have been roughed up because it was absolutely disgusting what he was doing. He said that a heckler should have been roughed up. If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously. Okay, just knock the hell out. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees. I promise. I would bring back waterboarding, and I'd bring back a hell of a lot worse than waterboarding.
What about the one where you can shoot somebody in the middle of the street and get away with it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Or grab them by the pussy.
Exactly. It's just like this is 9 years of history. Can't
That
you
doesn't
just
cover all the rest, right?
Yeah, like this is just from 2015 to 2024. Can't you just shoot them? Just shoot them in the legs or something. When he asked the Department of Defense if they could just send tanks and military to shoot the protesters outside of the White House in 2020. So, yeah, no, it's not. No. And I'll end this. This is what he said. Remember what he said on January 6, 2021, when the insurrection happened. I don't fucking care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me.
No, but they did threaten to literally hang your vice president and kill members of Congress. But cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a war that's raging on with Iran, right? Trump, according to, this is Monday night when we're recording this, Trump unlikely to accept Iran's latest proposal to end the war. Gas prices are out of control. The economy's in a free fall. You've got potentially somebody, now accused of trying to shoot the president of the United States. Still talking about the Epstein files because that hasn't been released. You've got 100 other things, scandals, things that the Trump administration is doing every day to unravel our democracy and hurt innocent people. And his focus, instead of addressing gun violence head on because it is a problem, or addressing the war in Iran, or addressing violent hate speech that he's been a part of, his main concern is a ballroom, and his second concern is ousting Jimmy Kimmel again.
Right.
For a joke that Jimmy Kimmel told almost a week before this tragedy at the White House Correspondents Dinner ever even happened.
Mm-hmm.
Those
That
sound
tracks.
like reasonable priorities. That's what we should really be focused. That's what the leader of the free world should be focused on.
You know it sucks when I would rather hear thoughts and prayers out of your mouth. I'd rather hear thoughts and prayers.
I mean, honestly, at least it'd be normal.
Yeah, at least it would be normal, sort of compassionate response. No, we're just going to completely ignore.
It's so frustrating.
Mm-hmm. It really, really is.
And, again, it's you just look at the news and you're like, you and I've done this for years, decades now. Ordinary people are tuning out. And
yeah,
I saw some local polling a week or two ago. People aren't even paying attention in the primaries right now. And my theory on that is arguably the politics that impacts people's lives the most, which is your local elections, your local governments, your city council, your county commissions, your state legislatures, your governing bodies in the state. Those are the things that really have an everyday impact on your life. I mean, of course, the president of the United States does and Congress does when they actually do their job. But like these offices really, really have an impact on you. And people are just tuning out. I had my parents over yesterday, right? Usual Dem primary donor. And even they were like, yeah, I can't even watch the news anymore. It's too much. There's too much chaos. There's too much rhetoric. There's too much violence.
Yep.
And the source of that usually is Donald Trump.
Yeah. Because usually the president helps set the tone of the nation in some way. Like even George W. Bush had his redeeming qualities.
So frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I go back to this article that we started with by this guy who was actually in the room. And it's on CNN. We'll link it in the chat. And it says, as I crouched underneath the table in the ballroom, I didn't know much, but I knew that help was on the way. Waves of law enforcement officials were pouring into the room, leaping from chair to chair, securing the scene. A man near me seemed hurt, or at least dazed. A police officer helped him limp away. Everyone in the room gave thanks to the agents, bodyguards, officers who responded, but I couldn't help but think that most Americans who have found themselves in the middle of a shots fired emergency feel much more exposed and much more vulnerable. And I think we should keep acknowledging that during the follow-up news coverage of this incident. And I think that's a good place to end. These folks had law enforcement, had some of the most well-trained law enforcement agents on the earth in their presence, and this still happened.
Mm-hmm.
How do babies in a classroom feel? How do teachers feel? How do educators feel? How do our workers feel? It makes me sick to my stomach.
Mm-hmm. It's awful.
Okay, well, on that cheerful note, let's go to the final bell. Maybe let's end on something not sobering.
Yeah. Let's go back to the Scientology raids, which have been amazing. The latest one is a guy dressed as Jesus. And if you don't know what it is,
Interesting.
yeah. And you know what? About time, because Scientology is a cult and manipulates people. It steals their money. Also, where's Shelley? Maybe she's in there somewhere. And yeah, it is arguably like it's the most 2026 thing, because I feel like people are just taking their rage that they have about everything and just saying, I'm just going to do something I can control. And that is run into a Scientology building to see as far as I can get. And like, it is the most beautiful thing. I bet Leah Remini is somewhere just like salivating.
Wiping one single happy tear away.
You're like, good job, kids. I've raised you right. Because it's literally, if people haven't watched the video, you should watch it. It's them running, because Scientology is secretive and they don't want you to go into the depths of whatever. And they're running and like jumping over like desks and chairs just to see how far they can, and trying to get into rooms. Like you can see Scientology staff like, oh my God, oh my God. It's like, what are they hiding in there? Shelley? Bodies? Like what's going on in there? Alien?
I love this is the shit that we go to escape the other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cults
it's fine.
and entertainment television, ratchet piece theater. Yeah. I mean, that's what keeps you sane is
Two. So first thing, shout out to, okay, so for those who don't watch Summer House on Bravo, I mentioned it at the opening. Summer House has had a lot of controversy lately, if nobody has been paying attention. West and Amanda hooked up after Amanda divorced Kyle, and Sierra had previously hooked up with West, and West broke her heart. They lied to the entire cast, and they recently had the reunion with Andrew Cohen. And Sir Andrew Cohen interviewed all of them for approximately 10 hours. Like, this was a 10-hour reunion. You know, that's like intense, right?
yeah.
So, Bravo's like crazy about their reunions.
Right. It's a whole thing.
And yeah, you have to like sign documents and shit. I've never seen leaked audio from a reunion before. I've never seen that. Leaked audio comes out of Sierra literally going after Amanda. And I mean, she goes after, calls her a snake in the grass. It's like fantastic. We will not be sharing that because we don't share things that are leaked audio because it's wrong. But a fan, Bravo launched this whole investigation, and it was a fan who outed the person who leaked the audio. And I just want to shout out the fans of Bravo because, I tell Nick all the time, I got into the wrong profession, truly. The fans of Bravo are a dedicated bunch of people, and I wish I had that kind of time on my hands to deep dive down theories. It's like the Swifties, it's like Disney adults. Like, these people invest time. And I just got to give them a shout out because, like, good for them. Good for you exposing those shisty people who leaked the audio. I love that for you. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Bravo fan.
Good
Second
job.
thing is, I'm going to Star Wars night at Disneyland on Monday because I'm a giant nerd and I can't
Nice.
freaking wait. May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
That's right. Oh yeah.
I'm
Hell
so
yeah.
excited. I got all my outfits planned. I'm building a lightsaber. I'm going to build a white one because Ahsoka is the best. I can't fucking wait.
Sounds
Nerd
fun.
unite. So anyways, well, because that's all I have in my life is Bravo and Disney that keeps me motivated to live, here we are.
And we'll end on that note.
I'll have to watch
Thank
the
you, everyone.
Send me the solid Scientology thing so I can watch it. I'm excited.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'll send it to you. Yeah. It's fascinating. It's a collection now. Like, it's so bad that LAPD is like making an alert and Scientology's trying to redo their doors. What's in there? Where's Shelley? If people don't know what we mean by where's Shelley, Google it.
Look it up.
Oh, well,
Been another fun week, Maria. I can't wait to see what happens in the next 5 to 7 days.
if we have 5 to 7 days, maybe
50-50. As long as I get to Monday. That's really what I'm living for at this point.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Well,
That's
thank
final
you
bell.
for tuning in, and let us know your thoughts about all these things. Thank God we didn't talk about voter ID. So yeah, let us know your thoughts about all these
We're
things.
talking about it again.
If it's about
We're
voter
giving
ID,
it a rest. Take it out of the chat. I ain't talking to you about it. We've talked about it enough. Talk
Yeah,
about
we
something
have-
else.
we have dealt with that enough. So let us know your thoughts, and we will see you next week. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, all the things, and share with your friends and your enemies.
Thank you. Have a great week, everyone. Be safe out there. May the
Bye.
force be with you.